2017 started to become a bridge connecting India with Japan. Currently based in Pune, India, as a freelancer, advisor, mentor, facilitator in commerce, commercials, academics, and cultural aspects. Also been invited to many conferences and functions as guest for speeches, lectures, and panels, which include IIT Bombay, IIT Calcutta, IIM Indore. The total number of opportunities given to him in India and Japan to deliver his speech come presentation has reached over 100 to 65 plus in India and 35 plus in Japan. Invited by Indo-Japanese Association, groups and circles, public and private organizations, public and private high schools, universities, private groups of researchers, and many Indo-Japanese cultural events. Since August 2019, teaching, guiding at MIT, ADT University, and MBA, BBA as adjunct faculty at the College of Management. Thank you, sir. It's my privilege. I request TOMIO ISOGAI to take over from here. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay.
TOMIO, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege, honor, and great pleasure here and talk about Indo-Japan relations. May I request the organizer, please allow me to share my screen. And I really like to give my gratitude to the organizer, Hyderabad Management Association, invite me for this very unique occasion. And special thanks to Mr. Sanjay Gadale, who has been the connector to me for this very esteemed organization. Could I get permission to share my screen, please? I'm not allowed yet.
Screen sharing has to be enabled for TOMIO-san. You need to make him the host of the program, Sanjay or Kavita. Who was holding the host?
Yes, please.
Mr. Sanjay, you would be looking into?
Yeah, I can. If you can make me the host, I can take care of it.
No, Sanjay Kapoor is the host.
Achha, okay. Say the whole name.
1 minute.
So in the meantime, I can tell you something about Hyderabad and me, myself. I've been associated with the Hyderabad since some time. It's been more than 10 years already now. And I've been very close to particularly IIT Hyderabad since its inception and before they have shifted to the new campus today, right? Since some time ago, I've been very much associated with that and very close to that institution. That was one of the coincidences that I have today. And I'm very happy to be back, you know, to get associated with this very esteemed organization. And I really hope to.
Did you get it, sir?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm ready. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'll be very much looking forward to making some contribution as much as I can. All right. So here is my presentation. Peace and conflict resolutions. Sounds, you know, easy to say and difficult to achieve. And let's work together for world peace, because I do believe firmly that India and Japan can make it happen. Yes, and I will be telling you why and how. All right. On 9th of August, we observed the 75th Peace Memorial Ceremony in Nagasaki, just 1 month before. For your information, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as you know well, the 2 atomic bombs dropped by the Americans onto 2 cities. Hiroshima is located in the mainland of Japan, where Tokyo is also located. And Nagasaki is in a little smaller island here. Okay, those are the 2 places, the victims. All right, because of the attack of a bomb in Nagasaki, about 30% of the city, flattening almost everything in the industrial district at that time. This is the BBC News in 2015, Nagasaki bombing. As it says, the US has justified using the atomic bomb as a necessity to end the World War II and save thousands of civilian and military lives worldwide from continued conflict otherwise. But critics say that Japan was already prepared to surrender and that the US had dropped the bomb to display its military might. I quite agree to that. Actually, the second bomb was not necessary. Peace Memorial Ceremony is being celebrated every year, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to console the souls of those who were lost due to the atomic bombing, as well as pray for the realization of everlasting world peace. This ceremony, which is attended by many citizens, including those who lost family members in the bombing, is held in front of the Kanotap for the A-bomb victims. The peace declaration, which is delivered by the mayor of Hiroshima during the ceremony, is sent to every country in the world, thus conveying Hiroshima's wish for the abolishing of nuclear weapons and the realization of eternal world peace. This is the kind of scenery, very symbolic memorial ceremony in Hiroshima. Unfortunately, this year, because of the pandemic, some restrictions were placed, so there was no release of those dubs this year. This is the Nagasaki case, Nagasaki Peace Memorial Ceremony. Normally, the gathering looks like this, but as you can imagine, because of the pandemic, this year was very much restricted. The prayer for the eternal peace is done every year in the evening of the such Memorial Day. This is in Hiroshima. The young girl is praying for the peace and, for the soul rest in peace for her, somebody who are closer to her. Yes. So this is a lantern, floating in the river. This is happening every year in Hiroshima. So the BBC News reported on 6th of August 1945, a US bomber dropped the uranium bomb above the city, killing around 140 people, 140,000 people. 3 days later, a second nuclear weapon was dropped on Nagasaki. 2 weeks later, actually it is 1 week later to be exact, Japan surrendered, ending the World War II. Early on Thursday, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and the mayor of Hiroshima joined bomb survivors and descendants in the city's Peace Memorial Park. The park is usually packed with thousands of people for the anniversary, but as you can see in this photograph, attendance was significantly reduced this year because of the pandemic, and chairs spaced apart, and most attendees wearing masks, as you can see here in this photograph. This woman holding a picture of somebody she loved, maybe her brother or somebody other near to her, close to her, I mean. And this is a symbolic thing that we use as a piece. It's a symbol of peace. It's a bird, a crane. It is the Japanese national bird. It is made by origami paper. Look at this. Thousands of origami paper folded cranes, which we call sembazuru, literally 1,000 cranes. We use this to wish the peaceful return of the soldiers, or sometimes for those people who are hospitalized, for them to come back very soon in a healthy condition. So we use this sembazuru, crane by origami, as a wish, expressing the wish for them in peace and for the health. This is just for your information. The peace declaration has been sent out to the world by the city mayor of Hiroshima. And some of the victims, but survivors, are giving some narrative video shooting to inform worldwide people to get to know about what happened actually on that day of the bombing. So those were the two ladies, survivors, who are, making some recording of her or their stories. And it is now being translated into 14 foreign languages that include Hindi language, starting from this year, last year, I'm sorry. Starting from last year, Hindi language was added to that 14 foreign languages that, makes this information available in the local languages. And two translators, two students living and studying in Japan have contributed to this translation into Hindi. And I was the one who coordinated this project. Thank you. So now today's topics, the main topic of discussion here. Number one, different perspective and common things between you Indians and me as Japanese. Number two, secrets of Japan's recovery after the World War II from the ashes. Number three, Japan's traditional cultural background. Number four, India and Japan, the strongest partners. We can put the world in peace together. Okay, first thing I'd like to show you is this, the world map from the global standard, as you are very familiar with that. Some people are saying that Japan is located in the very far east, but that's only from the European point of view. This is not the world map that any single Japanese people are watching. This is the world. This is the world we look at it. See, from this point of view, from this angle, the very far east is here, New York City, right? That's how it is different. And it's a totally different perspective. It's the same thing, but we're looking at the same thing from the different angle. It looks different. Yes. Now I like to show the population pyramid in the year 2015 India and 30 years from today, 2050. It will be looking like this. The population pyramid will be like this. The blue color is boys and the yellow color is girls. And the bottom line is at 0 age, the top line is 100 age. The population, 131 crore, to become 175 crore, maybe. In the year 2019, it was 136 crore. Now, I will be showing a totally different shape of this population pyramid. This is not even Japan. Actually, this is China. If you take a look at China's population, 137 crore, it's now almost 140 crore, which is number one in the whole world, but it will become number two only, 135 crores. So India will become the top number one populated country in the whole world by far from the second place of China. Okay, now I will be showing Japan, how it looks different from India. This is how it looked in 2015, and it is expected to look like this. How miserable looking this. Too much on the top or the aged group of people and too less from the younger generation. And please don't ask me why they are so, all right? It's another topic of discussion. So the point here is from the number of population is also getting lower and lower. And particularly in the area of 15 to 64 age, which is believed to be the productive population to sustain and support the rest of the population. So our issue, Japan's issue is we need desperately the young manpower. So this is something totally different from India. India will have more and more young generation, more and more educated, more and more talented and skilled, and looking for good opportunity for the jobs. Japan, we have the jobs to fill, but we don't have the people to fill. All right, look at this. Shortage of workforce in Japan. this is a year ago, already a year and a half ago, the foreign workforce can be the solution for this shortage. We have 3 lakhs of people in shortage in nursing care, restaurants serving almost 3 lakhs, construction workers, 2 lakhs of people are missing, like this. It is going to continue and grow, keep growing. Shortage of science graduates in Japan are also in short. We need to get more specialists in AI engineering and data analytics and so forth. We just need 50,000 engineers in advanced technology next year, which is now. Again, Japan to Indian techies rescue. Japan wants to recruit 2 lakhs of IT professionals. It was 2 years ago, and it will be growing to 8 lakhs of people needed in IT sector by the year 2030. It keeps growing and growing. So any IT specialists, IT experts from here in India are welcome to come to Japan for very decent work for a long time, all right? But just one condition there is. One condition, please don't forget, you need to speak some Japanese language. Please remember that. Okay, now difference and common things between India and Japan. Now common things. Yes, we saw the different perspectives. Now common things that we can share. I will be showing some of the examples. Buddhism, yes, it was born in India and brought up in Japan very, very widely. This is the Buddha statue, the largest in the world. It has a height of 18 meters, 18 meters high. And it was inaugurated by the Indian monk Bodhisena, who is believed to be the first visitor from India to Japan via China. Okay, he has spent his whole life, rest of his life in Japan. Japanese people worship in nature, the mountains, rivers, trees, rocks, all these things. We believe God is there. This is a very good example. The big rock is a husband and small rock is his wife, connected by the sacred rope. And here's the symbol of the Shintoism here. So we believe nature as gods to protect us. I think that's something similar to your religion. Then the 3 wise monkeys that you may have heard about, yes. Hear no evil, speak no evil, and see no evil. Okay? Yes, here they are. I heard that Mahatma Gandhi ji has talked about this, and it got spread out all over India, just like this. Yes, speak no evil, see no evil, and hear no evil. But the photograph here is taken by one of the shrines is just like temple in Japan. Hundreds years before Mahatma Gandhi ji talked about those monkeys, it was already there in Japan. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi ji is standing. This is in the central part of Tokyo, Japan, in the Suginami Library Park. He is standing over there, welcoming all the visitors from everywhere. Look at those 3 statues, please, carefully and closely. Aren't they looking familiar to you? Yes, they are, because they are Benzaiten, Kangiten, and Tamunten, but yes, they are all coming from India. Saraswati, Ganesha, and Kubera. In fact, Lord Ganesha is just one of the deities worshipped in Japan, derived from India. There are many more. Actually, there are more than 200 dedicated Ganesha temples in Japan. There are people worshipping Ganesha exclusively there, and more than 200 places scattered in Japan. Isn't that amazing and nice to know? Yes. Okay. Hiroshima, we have the Peace Memorial Museum. Yes. Exhibiting all the memories and things to remember about the bomb. In fact, have you heard about this? I don't know if you know, but in Impal, Manipur, in the Northeast India, there is another peace museum inaugurated last year and funded by the Japan Nippon Foundation. It is funded by the Japanese government. There is the Peace Museum in India as well. And in fact, at the end of the World War II, India and Japan were the allies to fight against the Britishers. Okay. All right. Now I'll be talking about the secret behind the successful recovery of Japan after the World War II. In 1979, a book was published by a professor at Harvard University, USA. The book was titled very sensational as Japan as #1. But please look at carefully just below that. Here is a subtitle, Lessons for America. So this book was talking about how Japan has recovered from the ashes, and those are the lessons for Americans. See? But just take a look. Japan is #1. It says, but it's not. Japan has never been #1. The fact was, in 1968, Japan has made its global position as #2 in terms of GDP over West Germany, only next to USA. All right. But just imagine when it was 1968, Japan has made #2 position. Okay. As we have seen in 1945, August 15, Japan surrendered to the Allies, and that was the end of the war. So August 15, you celebrate the Independence Day. And we do not celebrate it, but we memorize and remember those people who have fought for the nation. And that was the end of the World War II. On the same day of 15th of August, that's another coincidence that Indian people, you celebrate Independence Day, and we Japanese people remember those people who have fought for the nation. Hiroshima, before and after, from the ashes to the modern city. The book was talking about the island nations' development into one of the world's most effective industrial powers in terms of not only economic productivity, but also its ability to govern efficiently, to educate its citizens, to control crime, and to alleviate energy shortages, and to lessen pollution. So it covers all aspects of life. Now, let me just talk about some of the secrets that I myself have experienced in my career history for the Japan success. #1, secret #1, working very hard. Japanese people are very hard workers. I did not even claim how much overtime pay I'm supposed to get. I didn't care. I just kept working hard. #2, obey all the set rules. That's a basic common virtue of life in Japan. #3, punctual to schedule. Punctuality means in Japan, punctual to the minute, not to the minutes. See, that's a difference. So even 1 minute late is not really welcome. At offices, there are chodai, morning meeting, and yurei, evening meeting at every team on a daily basis to share the information all together. Intensive planning and implementation on schedule is another secret. Horenso, it's a combination of three words, Japanese words into one, combined with PDCA. It is English, plan, do, check, and act cycle. It's a management cycle. Horenso is the word. Ho means hokoku, reporting. Ren means rendaku, or informing. So means sodan, or consulting. Horenso is the key word in a daily life in the business field. TQC, the total quality control, and 5S Kaizen, those are a daily practice by all. This is another secret. And teamwork, rather than standing play by individuals. This is very, very important thing for Japan. Consensus decision making by Ringi system is another secret behind it. Lifetime employment. I'm a good example. As introduced, I have been working for one company after the graduation of my college as long as 37 years until my retirement from Shark. All right? Why it was so possible? Yes, it was so possible because of the job rotations and progressive promotion system set in there. This is very much common to Japanese companies. So I'm not an exceptional person who have served dedicated a long time, long years for just one company. I'm not just an exception. There are many people like that. Okay, I talked so much about things, but this is one thing important. In all public primary schools in Japan, there is a time slot for cleaning done by all pupils, all kids, every day, by everybody. Look at them. See, they are enjoying, they don't feel forced. They enjoy it and they learn how to make a strong teamwork. They enjoy it together, they learn, and they get trained how to make a strong teamwork. I hate to say this, but how can India get serious about Swachh Bharat? If you are very much serious about that, then you need to start from your home and then the school and then the society. Okay, talking too much about the secrets behind the secret. Oh no, secret behind the successful recovery, but I will tell you something secret behind the secret. Okay, the strongest motive actually I had in my heart was this: the desire to catch up with American lifestyle. See, when I was a kid, that's when the broadcasting of TV broadcast started. So the government run channel, only 2 channels, very boring. But government soon after, they have brought all the entertainment programs, but just from the United States of America. So I was watching as a kid, I was watching American movie, American drama, American cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Popeye Salman, Tom and Jerry, Disney World. Those are the things that I've been watching. And I watching through that. Wow, what American life, gorgeous, gorgeous. Wow, what a luxury. See, a big house, big garden, big cars, big refrigerator, right? All these things I was seeing. I was living in a small house, okay? So it got me a hunger. Why don't we to get that life, right? That is a hunger. And when I got a little older, I learned Americans dropped 2 bombs to us and destroyed 2 cities. Wow. Then it got me some feeling of anger, all right? But did not grow up too much. But hunger and anger, hunger and anger. Those 2 things were the true motive for the Japanese people to work very hard to get, kind of revenge in economical way, right? Economics, I mean. But this was the secret behind the secret. So keep it secret with you, please. All right. Everybody officially telling you why Japan's success was made. It was because of teamwork spirit. Everybody will tell you teamwork spirit was the real secret of the Japan's recovery. Know-how sharing, tutoring. See, I will tell you something you don't know, but you tell me something I don't know and you know. It's a give and take and tutoring each other and to help grow together, okay? This was one very important factor in Japan's recovery. Okay, now may I ask you, how old do you think is Japan as a country since its inception? How old Japan is as a country? Okay, because of the time constraints, I will be giving you the answer. The first emperor, Jim, was throned in the year 660 BC. He was the first emperor to inherit all the descendants. All right, and he was believed to be the descendant from the sun godness, Surya here, Amaterasu. In India, Surya, right? So Japan is 2,680 years old today in the year 2020. Okay, and I believe this is the oldest country as a nation in the whole world. And the emperor starting from 660 BC. So there is no other country or nation like this. And this is our pride. This is our very strong pride, in fact. Okay. Who was printed in the Japanese yen notes? See, this is Japanese yen, 10,000 yen notes. I see the Indian rupees have a portrait of Mahatma Gandhi ji. So he is such an important person. Yes. Same like this person portrayed in the Japanese yen note was Prince Shotoku, not emperor, but Prince Shotoku. He's been there in his portrait in the Japanese yen more than 50 years. More than 50 years he's been there in the Japanese yen notes. So what he did made the first Japanese constitution with 17 articles in the year 604 AD. Okay, and this is very important because this is the backbone and the origin of the ethics of the Japanese people. Because the constitution was made to regulate the ministers and public servants, and the very basic principle adopted in the constitution was important, wa. So it's a good word, I think. In some languages, wa means good thing. All right, so wa means in Japanese, harmony, solidarity, or unity. We have some words like washoku, meaning Japanese food, wafu, meaning Japanese style, wayaku, meaning Japanese translation. So just look at this wa, Japanese, wa, Japanese, wa, Japanese. So wa equal Japan. So it's the subconsciously and commonly shared philosophy by all the Japanese people. And it's the origin of the ethics of the Japanese people as well. Okay? Have you heard about Bushido? Bushido? Maybe not. Bushido is a Japanese word, way of the warrior, to be literally meaning. The code of conduct of the samurai. Samurai, I think you have heard about. No, samurai equal bushi, warrior, and class of pre-modern Japan. In the mid-19th century, the precepts of Bushido were made the very basics of ethical training in the whole society. So Bushido is the way of the warrior. It's a code of conduct for the samurai, the warriors. And this was made as the ethics of Japanese people, all right? And in the Meiji Restoration in 1868, it was the contribution. But at the end of the war, of the World War II, it was controlled by the Americans, and it was kind of abundant. It was kind of abundant, but you know, nothing can be abundant completely, see, because of the history and tradition for a long time. So it stayed in the martial arts and like a sumo wrestling, aikido, judo, kendo, those, you know, martial arts, those spiritual merit or yeah, spiritual merit was preserved in those sumo wrestling as well and the other martial arts. Okay, so what are the important 8 virtues in Bushido as a code of moral principles? There is a book, Bushido, The Soul of Japan. See, the subtitle is The Soul of Japan. It was written by Inazo Nitobe. Inazo Nitobe once was the Deputy Secretary General of the League of the Nations. League of the Nations. See, Japan was the permanent member of the League of the Nations. You know, the League of the Nations is the predecessor of the United Nations, okay? In that, Inazo Nitobe was the Deputy Secretary General of that organization. And he wrote this book. And in this book, he talked about the 8 virtues of Bushido, which is Giri, rectitude or justice; Yuki, courage; Jingi, benevolence; Reigi, politeness; Seijutsu, veracity and sincerity; Meiyo, honor; Chugi, loyalty; and Koki, sorry, self-control. All right, those are the 8 virtues. Now, charter oath of the Meiji Emperor of 5 articles. This is another very important tradition of ours. Emperor Meiji announced this in 1968 after the Meiji Restoration. It is called Charter Oath of 5 Articles. All right, what are the 5 articles? Deliberate assemblies shall be widely established and all matters decided by public discussion. Number 2, all classes, high and low, shall unite in vigorously carrying out the administration of affairs of state. Number 3, the common people, no less than the civil and military officials, shall each be allowed to pursue his own calling so that there may be no discontent. Number 4, evil customs of the past shall be broken off and everything based on the just laws of nature. Number 5, this is the last one. It says, knowledge shall be taught throughout the world so as to strengthen the foundation of imperial rule. So look at those 5 things that the Meiji Emperor has announced. This is the very basics of the new regime. And based on that, the same emperor has made this rescript on education, which is called Kyoiku Chokugo in Japanese. This is how it looks, the Japanese language, how it be written by the emperor, okay? And in this Kyoiku Chokugo, there were 12 virtues, now 12 virtues in the imperial script for education. These are, number 1, be filial to your parents. Number 2, be affectionate to your brothers and sisters. Number 3, as husbands and wives be harmonious. Number 4, as friends true. Number 5, bear yourselves in modesty and moderation. Number 6, extend your benevolence to all. Number 7, pursue learning and cultivate arts. Number 8, develop intellectual faculties. Number 9, perfect moral powers. Number 10, advance public good, promote common interests. 11, respect the constitution and observe the laws. Number 12, the last, in emergency, offer yourselves to the state. So these are some other kind of virtues and merits that was very much clearly mentioned in the imperial rescript, right? Now, interestingly, I found something. Interestingly, the 10 virtues in the Western world, which might be, I don't say very firmly, but might be inspired by Japan, is this. This is the book of virtues. It's a very thick book. And there are many stories. See, it's the subtitle here, A Treasury of Great Moral Stories. Okay. And in this book, there are 10 virtues. Number 1, self-discipline. Number 2, compassion. Number 3, responsibility. Number 4, friendship. Number 5, work. Number 6, courage. Number 7, perseverance. Number 8, honesty. Number 9, loyalty. Number 10, faith. So it was very interesting to know this book was published and some common virtues were there found. Okay. For example, I was working for Sharp Corporation. Sharp Corporation, a Japanese company. And in its business creed, there are 2 ideals, sincerity and creativity. And there are 5 virtues that the Sharp Corporation is making this as a virtue of all the people. Sincerity, harmony, politeness, creativity, and courage. See, look at this harmony. Harmony is what? From the Shotoku Taishi, right? The Prince Shotoku was talking about harmony in the 7th century, right? Excuse me, some noises are coming. Please mute, please. Yeah, thank you. What is WGIP? Have you heard about this? WGIP is War Guilt Information Program. War Guilt Information Program was infused by the GHQ, the General Headquarters, America's General Headquarters, occupying in Japan, their initiative, a program designed to brainwash the Japanese and instill a feeling of guilt regarding the war. In addition to concealing the America's responsibility for the war, this program aimed to crush the morale of the Japanese people so that Japan would never, ever again resist against the United States of America. Furthermore, media restrictions were enforced by a press code, made it impossible to criticize the Tokyo trial or to report trials taking place in China and Korea. Continue. Many Japanese people were instilled with a feeling guilt towards the war, believing that Japan is an evil nation that invaded other countries. This was not true, actually. The spiritual cohesiveness of Japanese people was crushed by methodical actions to disparage the tradition and history that were the source of national pride, as I have shown to you, all right? All those past national pride were kind of abundant. Eventually, it succeeded to completely dispel patriotism, to instigate distrust towards government leaders amongst the citizens, and to divide public opinion by encouraging communist activity under the name of democracy. Wow. Now, I just like to share with you that a part of Japanese constitution, current Japanese constitution, which is controlling us. In the introduction, it says, we, the Japanese people, desire peace for all time and are deeply conscious of the high ideals controlling human relationship. And we have determined to preserve our security and existence, trusting in the justice and faith of the peace-loving peoples of the world. We desire to occupy an honored place in an international society, striving for the preservation of peace and the banishment of tyranny and slavery, oppression and intolerance for all time, for the earth. We recognize that all peoples of the world have the right to live in peace, free from fear and want. We believe that no nation is responsible to itself alone, but that laws of political morality are universal, and that obedience to such laws is, law is incumbent upon all nations who would sustain their own sovereignty and justify their sovereign relationship with other nations. So this is our constitution. And our constitution, article number 9 is very particular. Article number 9 of the Japanese constitution is a clause in the national constitution of Japan outlawing war as a means of to settle international disputes involving the state. The constitution came into effect on May 3rd, 1947, following the World War II. In its text, the state formally renounces the sovereign right of belligerency and aims at an international peace based on justice and order. The article also states that to accomplish these aims, armed forces with war potential will not be maintained. The Constitution was imposed by the United States in the post-war World War II period. Okay. Now, some news just appeared in the 2nd of September this month. Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister's biggest failure, is his greatest legacy: preservation of Japan's anti-military constitutional provision. It says, last week, Shinzo Abe, who served as Prime Minister of Japan longer than any of his predecessors, resigned due to health concerns. Abe's overall legacy is mixed. His economic policies probably played a constructive role in the ending of hangover of his country's lost decade, actually lost decades. But he was in other respects a controversial leader, especially because of his long-standing goal of amending Japan's constitution imposed on the country by Supreme Allied Commander Douglas MacArthur of America after the World War II. Now, may I ask you, do you think how many times do you think the Japan's constitution was amended? I know India's constitution has been amended more than 100 times, right? Indian constitution was amended more than 100 times. How many times Japan's constitution has been amended? If anyone knows, actually, none, never. Japan's constitution never been amended since the last 73 years. Now, Japan and India Vision 2025. It's a strategic special partnership, bilateral relations. It's a global partnership already has become. It's a very important relationship between the two countries. All right. Now, let me just share something. In 1893, at the Parliament of Religions in Chicago, Swami Vivekananda, whom I admire and I respect so much, introduced Hinduism as the mother of religions, a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. The essence of Swamiji's message was universal religion, declaring that no religion is either superior or inferior to the other. Said this. It was a message of unity in diversity. Now, I admire the National Education Policy, NEP 2020, just announced by the government of India. What it says is very much inspiring to me. I'm not going to read this, but in its introduction, it talks about Junan, Pragyaya, Satya, and so forth. The ancient wisdom and philosophy are mentioned here, all right? And it says not only in thought, but also in spirit. It is a kind of aspiration and inspiring the young people about the knowledge, skill, value, and disposition and commitment, the global well-being as a global citizen. I got so much inspired by this new National Education Policy 2020. So from this, world in eternal peace, do you believe in that? If you ask me, do you believe in the world eternal peace? I would say, yes, of course. Not soon, but will come. My solution is UEP, inspired by the National Education Policy. I put here my personal proposal to you all. It is universal education policy to be implemented throughout the globe. And we can initiate, India and Japan can initiate this and lead the whole world to establish this united and universal education policy. Why not? Because I believe education will change the future. Have you heard about fellowship in Atharva Veda? Atharva Veda, it says under the fellowship, we are the birds of the same nest. We may wear different skins. We may speak different tongues. We may believe different religions. We may belong to different cultures. Yet we share the same home earth, born on the same planet, covered by the same skies, gazing at the same stars, breathing the same air. We must learn to progress together or miserably perish together. For a person can live individually, but can only survive collectively. Great words. We talked about the three wise monkeys. I found one article sent to me by a friend of mine. It says roots of Gandhi's three wise monkeys. In this article, I found so many words: Japanese, Japan, Japanese, Japan, in Japan, and Japanese, right? So it is obvious that Mahatma Gandhi was talking about these three wise monkeys, and it was totally related to Japan. In this article, it says here, in this portion, it says, excuse me, somebody is making a big noise here in writing, describes something. Yeah, thank you. In this article, it says here, think positive, listen positive, speak positive. So this is what Mahatma Gandhi ji were meaning by showing the three wise monkeys. So let me propose you one thing. Look at these four monkeys carefully. You may not be seeing any evil, you may not be hearing any evil, you may not be speaking about any evil, but you may be following and sharing all evils every day. And this is the trap, big trap, in front of the small children, in front of all the young people. They are easily being trapped by this. So my proposition here is, let's forget about those three wise monkeys, because in Rig Veda, Ano Badra Kratavoyantu Vishbata, it says, may good thoughts come to us from all directions. Please mute, please, everybody. Okay, and look at those three monkeys here. Speak out, listen up, and see it all. Completely opposite side of the three wise monkeys. And this is called the three smart monkeys. So let's be three smart monkeys from today and forget about three wise monkeys, which is talking about evils only. So this is my end of the presentation. No more Hiroshima, no more Nagasaki, please. And conclusion, let's build a solid partnership for a prosperous and peaceful future together. Only the young people, young generation can change the world and the future for us. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Tomio Sen. Before we get into the question answer session, may I request, it's our honor if you can release our newsletter here on the screen, and we will then forward it to all our members.
Oh, sure. I forgot that. Sorry about that.
No problem, sir. We wanted it to be completed and then do the
Correct.
honors.
Ladies
Thank you
and
very much for
gentlemen,
accepting it.
ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to announce the management review by the Hyderabad Management Association September issue is now being released to the public officially. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And we are honored that you have done this honor for us. We thank you very much. I just wanted to once again inform Mr. Tomio Sen is the honorary member of Hyderabad Management Association. And we look forward to many more sessions from her. And if you can remove this, sir, I will just get into the discussions and the question answers what people have posted here. So the first question has come from Mr. Nitin, if I'm not wrong, just give me a minute. Yeah. So first question is from Nitin, and it is talking about why India is still a developing country.
I have no answer for that. You know better. You know better than me. I live in India only 10 years. You have lived so much more, and you know the reason why. There are so many issues.
The next question is from Mr. Mahendra Kumar. India has various regions, but is still a united country. How about Japan? Has there been any differences?
Too much.
So what did it take to unite Japan? That's the first question. And here's the second question, which I will ask later. You can answer this.
The first question, what's the difference? Japan is a homogeneous, and it's a one nation with one race and one language. All right. It's just like one of the states here in India. And fortunately, in the whole history of Japan, as I told you, Japan has 2,700 years long history since its inception. Why? Because it was isolated from the world. It was far from the world, isolated on the far east from the Western point of view. Okay, so there was no invasion from the outsiders. Fortunately, we have been attacked by some others, outsiders, but fortunately, because of the being island nation and because of the sea, surrounded by the sea, it protected us being independent.
Mr. Mahendra Kumar's second question is, why are Japanese young people not much active in politics, unlike in India? What can be done to get youth own their country?
Japanese people are not very much keen to talk about politics, and they are indifferent from the politics because they are happy. They are very much protected. They are very much privileged. They have no specific issues in front of them. That's why.
Okay. I don't see any other question here, but till the time any further question comes here, I have a question for you, if I may ask with your permission.
Please.
You mentioned that Japan as a country is having less number of youth today,
Right.
and it is going to further decrease in future.
Correct.
While India has got the growth in the youth part.
Yeah.
And Indians, as youth of India, is looking for more possibilities on studies, more possibility on entrepreneurships, on startups,
Right.
and obviously jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So can you suggest to the Indian students and to the entrepreneurs and to the startups, what are the ways they can align with Japanese and seek forward to a collaboration to fulfill their desires?
Many ways, many ways. As I have been showing you today, there are so much of shortages in many fields of business, in almost all industries, because of the reducing number of young people. The shortage of manpower will increase only day by day. So there will be more and more opportunities for the educated, skilled Indian youngsters to come over to Japan and to get a very decent job for a long time. But one condition, as I said, they have to learn Japanese language, because Japan people, they don't understand and they don't speak English. Only 1 out of 10 maybe. So it's very hard for them to live even without any knowledge of Japanese language. So it will take at least 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to get to the very proficient level, employable to any industry. It will take 3 years. So I recommend all the young people who are interested in going to Japan and searching for good job opportunities. Yes, there are plenty of opportunities in front of you. Once you start learning Japanese language and get to some level of proficiency there.
So I have a follow-up question, sir, on that. Is there a way that these youth and entrepreneurs and startups can learn the Japanese language here in India with your help or with any other institution which can help at least our members who can look at it?
There are many institutions already teaching Japanese. There are many private tutors also available almost everywhere. In the cities, particularly in Hyderabad, you can find some institutions for learning Japanese. And good news is, because of this pandemic, because of the infrastructure getting more and more advanced, and the 4G is prevailing all over, I think the online teaching will become a standard. Then it doesn't matter where you are from. It can reach you wherever you are. You get that kind of tuitions by online from many sources available. And I'm sure this Japanese education will become a big boom from now on because of the relationship between India and Japan and the potential of the future growth for those relationships.
Okay, I have one more question. Before I ask that question, I request all the people to give their feedback on the program while going in the poll session and giving their ratings there. The next question is from Miss Tarunam Khan, and she's asking, do you think being privileged and having no issues in their mother nation is a strength for the youngsters in Japan?
No, it is a weakness now, because they are not concerned about their future, because being so privileged, they don't see any issues in front. They don't care about the future, but they have a very big, worries about the future, but they're not very much concerned about it. That is a weakness. I'm inspiring all the young Japanese students to think about the future of Japan in after 30 years. And I always tell them, know about India, get to know more about India, get as many friends from India to get to know each other and trust each other. And in the future, they can collaborate each other.
Okay, sir. We have the next question from our Honorable Secretary, Mr. Ramchandar. What is the level of corruption in Japan and how is it handled if it is there?
Yes, it is there from time to time, but it's been so much of, we have seen so much of reduction in that. We used to have a lot of them, but since the very strict law prohibiting that kind of actions and transactions, and it's been quite many occasions that we saw many politicians had been arrested and punished and so forth. So I think it is getting very much a minimum now. But I don't say zero.
Okay. I don't have any other question as of now, so may I request our Honorable Secretary to kindly give the vote of thanks. Secretary Garu.
Sir, thank you, Sanjay Kapoor, President of our HMA, and very many thanks to Mr. Tomai for his wonderful explanation, the detail that he spoke about. It was so interesting that almost all of us were so absorbed. And he spoke in very, very simple terms, and I think it was clear to everyone. I think many of us must have thought, what is the HMA and what is this relation between peace and conflict resolution? But definitely, sir, if you understand the way he has interweaved the principles of management, the requirement that everybody looks at, I think there was so much of substance in his talk. He talked about the commonalities between India and Japan, the opportunities that are prevalent in Japan and what we can really latch upon and take advantage, especially from the age factor front that which he explained, and about the secrets of success, how exactly their commitment to being successful all the time. I think, sir, it was really a very, very absorbing and wonderful lecture. We are very grateful for his honorable presence. As our president already told, he is our honorable member, and we feel that we look forward for his presence again and again. I would also fail in my duty if I don't thank our president, Sanjay Garu, who has been very, he was driving for this program, our vice president, Ms. Kavita Garu, and our office bearers. And again, thanks to all the members, or committee members and members who attended this program and all the audience also. I will be failing also in my duty if I don't thank Mr. Sanjay Gadale, our previous MC member, who helped in today's program. I thank our office of staff, back office people who have ensured this program went well. Thank you, sir, and I really feel very happy, and thank once again to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the poll session, the feedback is still available for next 5 minutes. There are about 13 people who have not provided the feedback. I request them to kindly provide the feedback there. Thank you, everyone. Kindly keep following us for the future programs. And there is a very interesting program which is coming up on 23rd of this month, which is basically open only to the first 25 participants. It's a program which is very good for the startups, entrepreneurs and the MSMEs who are trying and fighting their problems in this pandemic situation. There's another program tomorrow, which is happening on the digital side, which is being done by an ICFI gentleman, Mr. Antapreet Singh. Kindly join us for that tomorrow and on 23rd. For all future feedbacks, follow us on our social media platform and on our website. Once again, thank you to Mr. Tomio-san, and we look forward to much more such programs in the coming time. Thank you very much, and namaskar to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
I will keep this open for another 4 minutes to give an opportunity for people to put their feedback on the polls, and people who want to leave, they may kindly leave the program now. Okay, thank you. I think the polling, all people have polled. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
Okay, good day to all. I'm ending this program now. I hope the poll is over for all.
Powered by Colgate, special partner, Nalamanura Arugya Milk, co-presented by ISOGAI Premium Experts.
Presenting Realme 7 and 7 Pro. Capture
Okay, good
sharper,
night.
charge
I'm ending
faster.
this program now. Thank you.